How to get out of the friend zone. In this video, I'm gonna tell you how to get your friend to stop seeing you as his pal and instead his gal. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. Okay, so I have some good news and bad news. The good news is guys don't usually have girlfriends unless they feel a little bit of an attraction to that girl. It's very rare for there to be a purely platonic friendship, at least from a male's perspective. So if he's friends with you, chances are high he already feels a little bit attracted to you. The bad news is it's not so easy to get out of the friend zone and into the relationship zone. If he really liked you, then he would have done something about it by now, most likely. It's always bad news if you have to convince a guy to want to be with you. So if this guy isn't seeing you as someone he wants to be in a relationship with, and you have to do things in order to get him to see you that way, you're already not starting off from the best foundation. One thing I tell you guys a lot is that if a guy likes you, you just need to exist. That's pretty much it. You don't really need to do anything. But don't despair. It is completely possible to get out of the friend zone, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do it. So make sure you watch this video until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please tap that like button. It takes less than a second, so it's such a super quick, super easy way to help me out, help me grow my channel. Also make sure to subscribe, tap the bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. And the reason I am doing this topic is because overwhelmingly on my Instagram, you guys voted that this is a video that you wanted me to make. So make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can also weigh in on what videos you want me to make, what topics you want me to cover. So follow me at A New Mode. Also, if you feel like you're constantly getting stuck in the friend zone, if you feel like you don't really know how to get guys to desire you, to really ache for you, or if you just want a better understanding of how to attract an amazing man and how to have an amazing relationship, then you should definitely check out our Make Him Want You Bad system. We cover it all. We cover exactly what men want in a woman and how to not only get him to want you, but to want to be with you and commit to you and have a relationship with you. So you can download that right now or when you're done with this video at makehimcraveyou.com, and I will link it down below. Okay. So before we get started, I want to tell you a personal story about trying to get out of the friend zone. And I'm going to use this story to dismantle a very popular and widely held belief about getting out of the friend zone. So there's this guy, I'm going to call him James, and we had a lot of mutual friends. He was actually very good friends with a girl that I was going to be moving in with when I lived in the city. So they were already good friends. We had a lot of mutual friends. I ended up meeting him through our mutual friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this guy. He checked every box. He was so hot and so nice and just wonderful all around. And I really liked him. And I thought, okay, we would make a great couple. Like, why isn't he doing anything about it? But we kind of just fell into the friend zone. So finally I had one of our mutual friends go and talk to him one night and be like, you know, like you and Sabrina would really make an amazing couple. Like, have you ever thought about that? And he was like, oh, you know, like she's really great, but I'm really good friends with her roommate. And now me and her are friends. And I don't want it to get weird. I don't want to like ruin the friendships here. And I did what a lot of women do. I totally took that at face value. Like, oh, okay, like he's just worried about ruining the friendship. So I need to show him that that's not something to be worried about. So I made sure to let him know that with me, there is zero weirdness. I mean, I run a website with my ex-boyfriend. I don't know if all you guys know that, but Eric and I are actually exes. We dated in college. And I made sure to let him know, like, look, I could be friends with an ex. Like, I dated this guy, you know, and we run a website together. And I'm actually friends with a lot of my exes. And I'm a cool girl. I'm cool. I'm laid back. I'm not going to cause any drama. If we date and it doesn't work out, it'll be totally fine. You have nothing to worry about. I mean, obviously, I didn't say it in so explicitly, but that was the point that I was sending across to him. I also would go on this like pathetic quest to just like prove to him how similar we were and how great we'd be together and how our values aligned. And it was just all so pathetic and humiliating. And nothing worked. I mean, we just ended up being friends. But he did end up dating a friend of mine. I introduced them. And in that case, he had no worries about ruining the friendship. He didn't care. He just wanted to date her. Which brings me to a very important point. No guy is ever worried about ruining the friendship. If that's what you're holding on to here, you think that he's not asking you out because he doesn't want to ruin the friendship, or maybe he told you that, it's a lie. He's just saying it to spare your feelings. No guy is ever going to pass up the opportunity to be with a girl that he really likes because he's scared of ruining the friendship. This doesn't even change if you and him have hooked up. Because I mean, I've had a lot of guy friends and I've hooked up with some of them, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're headed to a relationship, Phil. That just means he's attracted to you. His attraction got the best of him one night, you guys made out. That still doesn't necessarily mean that he sees you as girlfriend material. Okay, so now that we've sorted that out, now that you know no guy's ever worried about ruining the friendship. Let's talk about how we can get you out of the friend zone. Number one, first, you have to be okay with just being friends. You need to get to a place of acceptance before you get anywhere. Because right now, you're probably more in a place of desperation. You're desperate to get out of the friend zone. You're desperate to change the way he sees you. And that energy is something that he can feel, because people can intuitively pick up on these sorts of things. Even the most seemingly emotionally obtuse man can pick up on that desperate energy. It's the energy of you trying to prove yourself to him. Also, he most likely knows how you feel about him. He most likely knows that you have a little crush. I mean, my guy, James, certainly knew, and I think it felt good to him because I fed his ego. He knew I liked him. He wasn't malicious or mean about it. He wasn't like toying with me. He was flirty with me. We had a lot of flirty banter, and he knew I liked him. So you need to get out of that zone of like being that little puppy that's like love me, love me, love me. Switch it around to just seeing him as a friend, as a purely platonic friend. Another benefit of this is if he senses that that window may be closing, that might spur him into action. And he might realize, you know what, like I do really like this girl, and wow, I might be missing out here. So I'm gonna jump on that. There's just a shift that happens. If something is available to us at any time, there's no motivation. There's nothing like spurring us into action. We're like, yeah, okay, I can have that whenever I want it. But when you can't have it anymore, then we see it in a different light and our perspective changes. So you have to get to a place of accepting what is instead of wishing and hoping it would be how you want it to be. Number two, upgrade your appearance. Okay, sometimes I get nervous talking about stuff like this because I feel like we are in a day and age where you can't hurt anybody's feelings, or you can't talk about things that are shallow or whatever it is. And I always get worried about it, but I feel like you guys, my audience, is really mature enough to hear it, because I don't always get as much backlash as I expect, which is amazing. So thank you for being able to hear me, because I'm just giving you truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, but the truth also helps. Guys respond to looks. If you look really good, he'll notice and he'll respond to it. Now let's go back to James for a minute. So James, over the course of a year, I lost like 20 pounds and I was really thin. I mean, I probably didn't need to lose all that weight. I wanted to. And I was very, very thin. And it was around that time when I started dating my now husband. We were in like the very early phases of it. And my brother had gotten engaged and we were at his engagement party. And guys, like, I was a smoke show that night. I mean, I'm not even gonna say this with any like self-consciousness. Like that is probably like one of my top 5 hottest nights of my entire life. I mean, I looked good, I felt good. I'm not saying you have to be skinny to look good, okay? Like, don't come for me. I was wearing this skin tight dress, high heels, I had my hair blown out, I had my makeup done, and James was there. And that night, completely, and my now husband was there too. Okay, we're gonna go back to my now husband. We'd only gone on 2 dates. He was at the engagement party. That's a whole separate story how he ended up there. And that was the night he looked at me and was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. I mean, granted, look, he saw me look not like that many other times, but that was the night he was like, I'm gonna marry that girl. Now, James was also at this party. And after me wanting him and being right in front of his face for like 2 years, that was the night that he started to ache for me. And at that moment, when I saw the way he was looking at me, I was like, oh, I could have him. And I knew. And I knew, even from things he told other people, that that was the night that completely changed his perspective of me. But obviously, I was dating my husband and we ended up getting married. But it felt really good to have him look at me that way. Now, James liked very skinny girls. I'm not saying this is true of all guys. I'm just using this example to illustrate to you a case of a guy who was my friend for a long time and completely shifted the way he saw me. Now, it wasn't just that I was thin and became more of his type physically, and he ended up marrying like a super skinny girl. That was just his type. Okay. Anyway, it wasn't just that. I was just in a really strong place emotionally. I was just so happy. I was so on top of everything. And I've spoken to you guys about this before, you know, how I got myself into a really good place internally before I married my husband. So there were a lot of elements at play here, and we're going to cover some of those later. But the point is, I looked my absolute best physically. Now, that same night, aside from James, there was this other guy. What name am I gonna give him? Let's call him Jason. Jason, I had met a few months before the engagement party at a mutual friend's birthday. And I thought he was cute. I was interested. I mentioned to a mutual friend of ours, like, you know, I think he's cute, I'm interested. The mutual friend spoke to Jason and was like, like, what do you think of Sabrina? He's like, oh, she's cool, she's great, but I don't know if we'd be a good couple. I kind of like want to get to know her more, blah, blah, blah. So me and him were friendly, whatever. We would text. It was just friends for an entire summer. That night, he pulls me aside to the corner, like, I want to date you. We have to go out. Like, you are the girl for me. Basically, like, I mean, this guy was like fell in love with me that night. It was crazy. And I was like, sorry, like, you missed your chance, dude. Like, you had all summer to date me. I'm dating somebody else now. And that was that. So this guy, two guys, one night, I was in the friend zone. All of a sudden in one night, their perspectives completely shifted. I want to bring up an important point because I know weight is a sensitive subject. The reason I lost all that weight was for me. It was something that I wanted to do for me. I wasn't doing it for a guy. And you should never be in that mindset where you want to lose weight just to please a guy. I wanted to do it for me as a byproduct. I was attracting guys who liked that look. I've had 3 babies in 5 years. I definitely don't look the way that I looked that night when my husband decided he wanted to marry me. And my husband doesn't care. But I'm again on a quest to lose weight. I want to look my best. I want to feel my best. My husband doesn't care. As an illustration of how much he doesn't care, he was at Costco the other day. He bought these huge tubs of Nutella when he knows I'm like trying to lose weight. And I was like, you must really love me and not care about me losing the baby weight if you are going to put this in front of me because you know that it's my kryptonite. And he like doesn't care. So I'm doing it for me. So it's a really, really important lesson here is to make yourself look your best for you, not just for him. If this guy likes the Kardashian look, but that makes you feel really uncomfortable, then don't do it. Or do it a little bit. Maybe just get the fake eyelashes. Don't get the fake nails and the fake hair and the fake butt or whatever else. Go as far as you're comfortable with. And most importantly, look the best that you can look. This will just change the way he sees you. And all it really takes is just one time of him seeing you in a different light. Like he was looking at you one way and all of a sudden he has a totally new view and a totally new perspective. Sometimes that's all that it takes to just trigger that intense attraction within him. Number 3, make over your vibe. It's not just about looking great on the outside. It is about feeling your best on the inside. And that's something we talk about so much on this channel. You have to fill yourself up. You have to fill yourself up with happiness. Now that's such an easy thing to say, right? Like, okay, yeah, just be happy. Oh, thanks, Sabrina. Like I hadn't even thought of that before. Just be happy. Happiness isn't easy. Happiness is a choice. It's a choice we have to make every day throughout the day. So choose to do things that make you feel fulfilled and happy. And this does not mean climbing a mountaintop and meditating for 5 hours. It could be as simple as asking yourself, what would make me happy today? What's something I could do to be happy? You know what? Maybe cleaning my closet would make me happy. Every time I go in there, I feel so scrambled and disorganized. I can't find anything. Things are everywhere. I'm going to organize my closet today. And that is going to give you a feeling of happiness. Now, obviously, things like that don't create long-lasting happiness, but those are little things. You could do little things every day to increase your happiness. You could do little things every day to increase your feelings of fulfillment. And when you do that, it completely changes your vibe and it makes you so magnetic. And again, that's going to change the way he sees you. Right now, he sees you as a friend. In order to change the way he sees you and for him to see you differently, you need to be a little different. And you could be different in the upgraded way, the new and improved version of you. Number 4, date other men. It is never a smart strategy to put all your eggs in one basket. Right now, I'm sure all of your attention is focused on him and how great he is and how great you would be together and how much you wish that he would just see it too and get on the same page as you. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but you have to date around. For one thing, like I said, this guy already probably has some feelings for you. When he sees you out with other guys, that is going to activate his competitive instincts and that's going to make whatever he's feeling even more amplified, even stronger. If there's any hope for him to really come around and see your value, it's going to come when he feels like he might lose you. Also, a good mindset shift here. Maybe you don't want to date other guys, whatever the case may be. A good mindset shift, at least what helped me, was seeing dating other guys as a learning experience rather than just looking for love. Because when you see it that way, you always have something to gain. All right, number 5, flirt with him. One reason why a guy who's your friend might be reticent to make a move or take it to the next level is he might be afraid of being rejected. That is a huge fear for most men. I think I have a whole chapter on this in my book, 10 Things Every Woman Needs to Know About Men. You can get it on Amazon. But men are terrified of rejection. So if you are just completely acting like his friend, like you have no romantic interest in him. Maybe you're worried about being rejected yourself, so you don't want to let him know. You don't want to be vulnerable. So if that's how you're playing it, don't flirt with him. Just give him an in. Give him an indication that if he makes a move, he won't be rejected. You can also get close to him or make it seem like you're going to kiss him or touch him romantically, but then stop and make it seem like you were doing something innocent, and see how he responds to that. At the end of the day, if you look your best, you are feeling your best, if you give him opportunities to make a move and he just doesn't, then there's not much you can do here. He's just not the right guy for you. I mean, in looking back, like James, who I wanted him for so long, I mean, we stayed friends for a while after he became friends with my husband. Through that, I realized that we would be a terrible couple. He was not the guy for me at all. And I had that clarity with like so many other guys. Like once I was in a healthy relationship, I had that clarity about so many other guys that I thought were the guy for me. And I'm like, what was I thinking there? So it's very possible he's just not a match. I mean, sometimes you'll have the clarity, sometimes the guy will have the clarity. In this case, maybe your guy friend is seeing things more clearly and realizes this just wouldn't work out long term. And even if it does end up that way, you're still gonna win in the end if you follow all the advice I've given you in this video, because you look your best, you feel your best, you're dating other guys, you have a lot of potential options, and you're just in a really good place. So now you've already set yourself up to find a healthy relationship with a guy that's right for you and better suited for you. So take that as a consolation prize, and it's not a bad one. I hope this was helpful. Please share your stories of getting out of the friend zone. I love to hear from you guys in the comment section. I read them all. I try to reply to everyone. Follow me on Instagram @AnewMode so you can vote on the next video topic and also get daily relationship advice and answers to all your questions. And if you want to know exactly how to get a guy to desire you, check out our Make Him Want You Bad system. You can get it at makeandcraveyou.com, and I will see you in the next video.